Hey, you're a financial firefighter, Marco Shuro, and today what I want to talk about is financial literacy. But let me remind you, I do work for the Honolulu Fire Department. I do work for RE/MAX Honolulu. All the ideas, topics discussed on this channel are on my own. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here to hopefully help you get started in your out-of-state real estate investing journey. So before we get started, please like, subscribe, comment to my channel so I can hopefully grow and reach more people. So let's get started. So for me, I was stuck in this certain kind of financial trap, I guess you would say, for most of my life. Even though I went to school for accounting or finance, I was just headed down this path of saving, buying a primary residence, putting money in retirement accounts. That was my plan for financial success. And now what I realize is that may not be the best plan out there if your plan is to retire at a younger age or to have a better retirement, right? So the path that I was headed down was the traditional path that a lot of us fall into. We go to school, we get an education, we get a good job, and we work that job, right? And we save up to buy a house to live in, and then we try to pay down that mortgage. And while we're doing this, we're also putting money into our retirement accounts. And hopefully by the time we turn 65, we have all this money built up that we can live off of. And that sounds like a nice plan, but what we find out is, why should we be working 30 to 40 years when we don't really need to, if we can figure out a way to get out of the rat race a lot quicker? Once I realized how risky I was being with my finances by basically having one stream of income, having a primary residence that is very, handcuffing as far as expenses, mortgage payment, I put myself in a bad position as far as trying to build wealth quicker and get out of the rat race. So, definitely my mindset has shifted. The way I look at finances has changed. And, I get it. Saving is one way to do it. You can save and have a decent retirement. However, saving is a very slower way to accomplish this process of retiring earlier. Building wealth or building income is probably the quickest way to do it, and that's why I choose real estate as my path to building this wealth. Others may do it through stocks, and like I said, starting a business is another great way to build wealth. However, I chose real estate, and I like real estate for all the components that help you build your wealth, whether it be through cash flow, whether it be through principal pay down, whether it be through appreciation of the property, and even the tax benefits that you get from it. So there's kind of like 4 ways that you can increase your wealth by using real estate. Now, real estate is probably one of the harder ways to do it, because real estate is a lot of work in the beginning. It can provide you with a lot of obstacles and headaches. However, it's probably, to me, in my opinion, the quickest way to scale. Like I said, I don't know if you watched my other videos, but some of the properties I got in the beginning definitely tricked me into thinking real estate was just totally passive. And that is kind of this misconception out there that real estate is passive income. It's passive income on your tax returns. However, it's definitely not passive in the beginning. It can get there. It can definitely become a lot more hands-off, but in the beginning, it is a little more work. It is a little bit more learning the process, and that's why I feel getting started is super, super important in this journey, because you're gonna learn so much by doing. There's so much information out there, and just getting your feet wet and getting started, you're gonna learn so much in this process. So that's what I recommend. Get started and head down this path to your financial freedom. So what I realized is that financial, literacy or financial freedom, I guess you could say, there's different levels to it. So financial freedom to me is that end goal, is that end where you have all this income coming in and you can pretty much be doing what you want for your retirement. You can be starting business, you can be donating money, you can be traveling, but you pretty much are at a point where you can do things and you're still making more money than you're spending monthly. Like, that's what financial freedom is. But in the beginning, to me, financial independence is what we want to shoot for first, right? So everybody probably has a certain amount of expenses that they have monthly, whether it be a house payment, whether it be car payments, whether it be child expenses, or cell phone bills, but cable. But everybody has a certain amount of expenses that they have monthly. So financial independence is where we're going to generate enough income to make sure that our expenses are covered. So if we want to venture off to start a business, whether we want to take another course or job that we love or that we want to do or have a passion for, that we want to start, if we're financially independent, we can do these things because we know that our passive income that's coming in is going to cover whatever expenses that we have monthly. So the first goal is we want to keep figuring out how we're going to eliminate these expenses through passive income. So for example, your cell phone bill might be $200 a month. Now, if we get a rental that cash flows $200 a month, now we've eliminated one of our expenses. So that's the goal, right? We want to get to a point where we are eliminating our monthly expenses. And so for a lot of people, housing or their living situation is probably their biggest expense monthly. So one way to really eliminate that is house hacking, right? We've always talked about house hacking as being kind of that key to starting your journey for financial freedom. And if you're in that position to house hack, I highly recommend that is some way to really propel you on the path to financial freedom, because your housing, like we said, is probably your biggest expense that you have monthly. So if you can house hack and live in one unit, rent out the next unit, or if you have a triplex multiple unit, then you can eliminate or reduce your living expense dramatically. So house hacking, super important if it's possible. And like I mentioned in other videos, definitely if you're young, try to do it when you're young, because if once you start having kids or a spouse, definitely it does make it a lot more challenging to house hack. And hopefully you find that right person who's on the same mindset or same path as you, and they're willing to house hack. But definitely trying to convince other people to do that is definitely a lot more challenging. So house hack in the beginning if you can, but that's our goal, right? We're trying to eliminate our monthly expenses. Like I said, cell phone, your car payment, your living expense, but we're trying to reduce these expenses so that we can become financially independent. And that's how we can maybe take more risks. We can do other things like start a business, like I said, maybe take a new job. But financial independence is that first step. And right now, like for me, I'm financially independent. If something were to happen, my expenses would all be covered by my passive income. Now, would I be living the life that I'd want as far as like a retirement life? No. So that's where my next goal is. My next goal is to get a certain amount of passive income so that when I do retire, and I do want to retire early, so I'm putting that out there. That's my goal. I want to get to a certain number where I'm going to retire early. And when we get to that point, then now I can retire early and I can travel, I can relocate, I can do whatever I want, right? Because I'm making a certain amount of income through my rental properties. And same thing with the good thing with real estate is you can continuously scale. You can leverage one property into another property, or one property into two properties as you get appreciation. So you can keep scaling your portfolio to generate more income. So that's the very, very important thing about having financial literacy, is that you have an idea of how you can increase your income or generate more income. And that's the problem or the trap that I fell into, right? When I, like I said, mentioned in the beginning, go to school, get a job, work, save, buy a house, and just put in your retirement account. If something were to happen, I really didn't have a plan of how I would start over, how I would rebuild wealth, or, I would, what would I do, right? I'd fall down that same path of trying to get a job, buying a home, putting in my retirement account. And definitely that's, the plan for that is usually 30 to 40 years. And, do I have that amount of time again to build up that type of retirement plan? So definitely now for me, if something were to happen, I have a game plan of what I would do and how to build wealth, whether it be house hacking, whether it be, putting down a low down payment on a house to build equity and to get rental income. But I have a game plan now, and then that's where a lot of the fear I think people have of retiring early is they don't know how they're gonna live if something happens with the economy, right? Just for example, recently, right? People that retired in the past few years and their retirement accounts or stock portfolio took a 20% hit, right? And inflation is going up. So they're living on a fixed income, and now cost of everything else is going up, and they also lost money in their retirement accounts. So now, if you don't have a plan or don't have a strategy how you're going to increase income, I definitely see why some people fear retiring early. However, like I said, I have a goal. My goal, I'm going to retire in the next 5 to 7 years. It really depends on my situation with my son, my parents, a lot of other things, what I'm looking for. But I'm planning ahead. I have all these thoughts in my head about what I'm going to do when I retire early and how I'm going to help my son and if he does go to college and whatnot. But I have this goal in mind, so I'm putting it out there. We'll look back hopefully in maybe 5 years, and hopefully I'll be retired by then. But hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully everybody else can realize that there's a lot to learn about financial literacy out there, and it's not what we've been taught in school, right? It's not this traditional go to school, get a job, buy a house to live in, put in your retirement account, because that's definitely not probably the best way to do it, right? I mean, it's better than not doing anything, but there's definitely other ways out there, and we have to look around and see people who are retiring early and living a certain way. What have they done, and what are they doing, and how did they accomplish that? So, hopefully this video kind of help you open up your thoughts and change your mindset a little bit and realize that there's other ways to do it out there, and there's other ways to do it a lot quicker, and to just kind of figure out what's your target number to get to financial independence, because that now opens up a lot of possibilities out there, right? Once you eliminate your expenses, now like I said, you may have this passion of starting a certain business or following a different career path, and once you get to financial independence, it definitely opens up a lot of opportunities for you. So, like I said, hopefully this video made you think. This is something that it's been on my mind quite a bit recently, because everybody that I talked to, when I mentioned that I want to retire early, a lot of them were like, but what about, why are you going to leave, your pension or not get your full pension, or why are you going to leave early when, how do you know, what's going to happen in the future? And we don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? But we can best prepare ourselves for what's going to happen. And I look at a lot of other people in this community and around me, and they've retired early, right? And they're not looking back, right? They've retired early, but they're continuing to grow their portfolio, right? They're continuing to increase their cash flow. So they retire early, but they're still able to increase their income. Whereas someone else who retires, who doesn't have financial literacy and retires early, or retires, with their retirement plan, and something happens in the economy, like I said, the stock market goes down or inflation goes up, and now how are they weathering that storm, right? So hopefully this video helps you to just kind of start thinking down the road and thinking about your financial literacy and what would happen if things were to go wrong. Like, how would you start over, right? And I definitely feel confident that I have a game plan now if something were to happen, and I have a plan now. I feel very confident. If I retire early, things went wrong, I have a plan on how I build wealth again. So like I said, please like, subscribe, comment on these. I love it when people comment. I'll get back to you. But like I said, I love helping people. I'm reaching out to other individuals, and they're reaching out to me and they want to get started in out-of-state investing. So please, like, subscribe, comment, let me know how I'm doing, and just trust the process. And until my next video, just keep looking for those deals.